First person I see is Kino. And he goes, "You, what the fuck are you doing here?" He's pointing at me, and I walk over. I go, "What's up, buddy?" And just hit his hand like that. I was cracking up. And he's like, "Get the fuck out of here right now." I was like, it took me a second to realize who it was. So I don't even think I knew it was Kino when I did that. I thought, but then when I realized it was Kino, I'm like, "Bro, I'm not here for you." And he lunges towards me.
Pin it up, pin it up.
So in your book, 100 Ways I've Almost Died While Working in the Rap Industry, you spoke about Royce the 5'9's manager, Kino, and we spoke about the situation in a previous interview. Well, recently you ran into him and he didn't like that.
He did not. He did
What
not
happened?
like that. I fly to New York. I get there a day early. I got there early as fuck in the morning. I took a 6 a.m. flight from Indy. I landed in New York at like 8. And we were going to shoot the Rakim video that day. So that was like, cool. That was my free day. Ra wanted to push it back to Saturday. So I was like, okay, cool. We did that. And like, thank God he's such a fucking constant worker. And Ra understands the importance. Like, this is my first solo single in 15 plus years. I'm on the bars. I did the beat. I did the scratches. We got the video. I was at the shoot from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then I got ready for Jay-Z. Ra was still filming at 12:30 in the morning after I got back to my hotel room from Jay-Z. Like crazy work ethic. So, so I didn't have to do the video shoot on the 9th. I slept all day, fantastic sleep. Static and Dax told me that they were going to the Alchemist premiere thing at Webster Hall. They're like, "Yo, come through. We got all access pass for you." I was like, "Bet." So I go. We're all upstairs, like in this room. I'm seeing mad people. I even saw Mortal Technique. We sat down and talked for like a half hour. It was great. Then I saw Paul Rosenberg, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I was in the middle of a conversation, I think, with like UFO Phoebe, and I saw Paul walk past, and I was like, I gotta talk to Paul, because we had Eminem do the intro on DZ's album with Crooked Eye. Crooked Eye executive produced it. Eminem and Jay-Z have an interlude on the new Rakim Corrupted Master Killer, and I just wanted to thank him and shit, because it was the media that ran crazy with this narrative. It was a brand new song with Rakim, Jay-Z, and Eminem, when the whole time on the track listing as I posted it said interlude. It even went on to say immediately, like, they're not rapping, they're speaking. And then every, media outlet in the world was like, brand new song. Paul's like, I don't know about it. So I want to be like, even Rakim was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, bro, it said interlude from the jump. So I wanted to let him know. And Paul would have definitely understood, like, but the media is going to do whatever they want. So I see Paul walk that way. That way leads down a stairwell, and there's a whole other green room, and that's the artist green room. I'm like in the upstairs, like friends and family green room, okay, where you can watch the show from like behind the stage. You go on the stage if you want, watch it from like this glass. I open the door. The first person I see is Kino. I'm going to stand up for this. Hold on. First person I see is Kino. And he goes, "You, what the fuck are you doing here?" He's pointing at me, and I walk over. I go, "What's up, buddy?" And just hit his hand like that. I was cracking up. And he's like, "Get the fuck out of here right now." I was like, it took me a second to realize who it was. So I don't even think I knew it was Kino when I did that shit. I thought, but then when I realized it was Kino, I'm like, "Bro, I'm not here for you." And he lunges towards me. And we just do this for 45 seconds. One of his friends is like, "All right, break it up, you two. Nothing's happening here." He's like, "I better not see you ever again." And I went out in the hallway, like I'm literally at the door. I didn't even make it past the door. So I'm outside the door now. I was like, "I'll be in the stairwell until you want to come out and fight me." I'm sitting there for like 5 minutes. He doesn't come out. And I think Infamous on the dais walks down the stairwell with somebody from Shea 45. He's like, "You good?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm just waiting to see if this guy's going to come out and fight me." I wait a few minutes. He doesn't come out. So then I just go back. And watch the show. And I met the dudes from, what was it? Like, Don't Talk Too Much, or don't something like, I'm sorry, I can't remember the name off the top of my head. and we took some flicks, and I ended up doing their podcast like the day later, or maybe 2 days later. But I texted Kino as I'm in the hallway. I'm like, I ain't hide, bro. I'm here. We can do this right now. I know where you stay. Like, what do you want to do about this? And I hit Law the Dart Man, Kino's cousin, because me and Law have worked for 23 years. We're laughing about the shit. Crook and I are laughing about the shit. Like, fight me or don't, bro. But it doesn't take away from all the truths I talked about in the book. I don't give a fuck how mad you are. After I put that story out in the book, you know how many people DM me like, "Oh man, that dude's always been bad business." Blah 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 blah. Like same shit with the Pete Rock chapter. Hundreds of people wrote me like, "You might be the only one that Pete Rock didn't fuck over, and that's why he has such a disdain for you. He got over on everybody with like taking money for beats and not clearing them or getting the paperwork. Here you are, not getting fucked." Royce thanked me in real time when Ty Ferris went to the studio, and I was like, I got this money for you to do this verse. Kino said you couldn't do it. You're too busy. He's like, Kino never even told me about this shit. Thanked me right then there. I've sent him the bread. He did the verse like the same night, did the video drop. That started the whole, like the origin of the shit. Kino took money from this other company under the caveat that Royce would never do any verses for me ever again. For any albums, for any beats and features, packs, blah, blah, blah. So they could run their game and dude, these are dudes from like the United fucking Kingdom, impressionable white kids. Like, oh, okay, fish and chips, great. You know, fucking the Temper Beats guy and DJ Flip, he's from Cali, but they were partnering up. I built Temper's company for 3 years. I talk about in the book, and then they still have to pay me anytime they made a beats and features pack because I own the intellectual property to third-party verse licensing. Beats and features packages. They all they did was take my contract and take my logo off and put theirs on. Dumb shit. So Kino lied to Royce, and it's just another example. Like, bro, you're supposed to be like that dude's blood brother. You've been with him since like day one, and you're doing deals where you're shading him so you can make an extra 5-10 grand. One of the last deals I did for Crooked Eye was fucking 6 figures. Like, yo, dude, like, I'm not telling Crook, hey, I got 50 G's for you when it's 100. I'm telling him what the fuck it is, and he signs off on the deal, and I get my cut that we agreed upon. Okay? That's the shade ball other side of the business shit. I maintain all these artists I work with are a decade plus in the running, some 25 years plus, okay? You only get that kind of longevity by having transparent, good business, open lines of communication, so on and so forth. So I think it's in super poor taste. And I even made a post like, Royce reminded me the fucking manager's a bitch. Like, he could have done the verse for that company, got the money, and for me, got the money. So now that's what happened. I made sure Royce got paid twice. That's it. You don't like my truths. You don't like the truths. You actually tried to work to the detriment of your artist making money. So you hate me. And remember, he was texting me like, I'm going to end your career. I'm going to make sure no one ever works with you again. I've now lapped Kino a dozen times over. Since Kino said that shit, what? DMX credits, Eminem credits, Rakim credits, Wu-Tang Clan credits. Like, oh, I'm sorry, Kino, what really did you end here? You just have Royce. You couldn't even successfully shop the Law of the Dartman deal. That's your own family. I did it. Like, sorry, bro. You had a good run. Like Jay-Z says, every day a star is born. Clap for him. Clap for him. Clap for him.
When he was trying to attack you, right? Did you know what it was about already?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he maybe I didn't say that. When I walked, he was like, you had a whole lot of shit to talk about me in your book. So he read it.
Got you. Okay.
Also, all these people, I don't know, like, Inspector Deck told me he read the book and liked it. Thought it was funny. Like, Kino probably just read his chapter and maybe some associated Detroit chapters like D12 and whatever else. But yeah, no, it was for the book. Remember, there's never been a book like this ever. Not like, I'm selfless plug here, but like, you're never going to have another book like this ever. my shit's the fucking truth because I've been around long enough and worked with so many motherfuckers. Like, this is the shit you don't see. I could write a whole fucking book in itself. I say this about several albums I worked on, but about this Rakim Corrupt Master Killer album, I can't even tell you how many times my life was threatened in the making of this shit. It literally is going to go down in history as one of the best albums of 2026. And then it will stand the test of time. That upset a lot of motherfuckers. It's so good, it upset a lot of people in very high up positions that want to control how this artist does this and this artist does that and da-da-da. And here I am just putting this fucking greatness together. I cannot wait for the world to hear it September 18th.
So how does Law the Dark Man, his own cousin, feel about the situation? Has he tried to squash that beef for you guys?
That's why it was so fine to me that Kino went off. Well, I mean, look, he saw me, he just instinctively reacted how I was going to react. But Law told me, he talked to him, was like, yo, cut the shit with M80. Like, M80 is good for my business. Like, you're supposedly good for Royce's business, though I'm sure Royce at this stage of his career could do everything on his own accord if he needed to or wanted to. Like, cut the shit. But again, I had never seen Kino since, bro, the last time I saw Kino before this might have been in like 2012, 13. Okay. So even when that shit happened, that was like 3-4 years ago. So it's the first time I've seen the man since all that shit. And remember, in like 2012, 2013, that's when I don't even hate Kino. In the book, I talk about like, yo, I'm going to send Kino a fucking edible arrangement, a nice thank you card. Kino fucked me on this deal with Crooked Eye. I paid Kino, who was Crooked Eye's manager at the time, to do a verse and hook for some dude's project in like fucking California. And we do the paperwork, signs off on it, verse and hook, sends me back a verse. And I'm like, where's the hook? He's like, oh, Crooked Eye doesn't do hooks. Then why the fuck would you take the money for the verse and hook? Sign off for the verse and hook. Bad business. Bad fucking business. Oh, don't worry about it, man. I'll get you on the next go round. So now I'm left holding the bag and have to go explain to the artist, like, hey, sorry, like they're not giving you a hook. Like, what are my options here? Do I fucking cut a piece of the verse and make a hook? Do I refund the client? Like, you see? Like, that's how you can get yourself into M80's bad business. Maybe I made the wrong decision. I don't remember what I did in that. I think I refunded the client out of my pocket. But I told Crook and I about what Kino did, and Crook's like, you never told me it was a verse and a hook. I'll go back and do the hook. And I was like, I think honestly that is what happened. He went back and did the hook. And he said, from now on, you call me direct. They're great. Kino fucking me for $750 allowed me and Crooked Eye to go on to make well over $1 million together. A+, Kino. I ain't mad at you, buddy. You had your shot. You fucking blew it. I'll tell you this. I am a man of honor, though. I went to a party after that happened, and Kino's daughter was there. And I didn't say anything. I didn't try to be funny, take photos, and, fucking like blast them online, like, look who I'm with, that shit. So even my disrespectful nature has its levels and boundaries and stuff like that. Because I don't have any beef with Kino's family. I don't have any beef with Royce the 5'9". Like, I think it's hilarious. I honestly think it's funny that he backdoored Royce on such a petty deal. Oh, Royce is too busy to do this. He's working on the new Prime. He's working on the follow-up to Bad Meets Evil. And remember, this was years ago now at this point. I don't know if that's if or when that will be released, but I believe that's something that's really coming for the Eminem fans out there. Royce, when Ty Ferris went to Royce's studio, put me on the phone with Royce, and Royce like, make sure you have my number, blah, 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 blah. He did it in 24 hours. It was, the amount of money was literally at least $7,000 more than I'd ever paid Royce, ever. So it's like, he's like, wait, this is what you offered Kino when he said I was too busy to do this? That pissed him off. Like, yeah. When you can get 5 figures a verse as a hip hop artist, like Spesh can command that. You know, Benny commands that. West Side, of course, like Conway, they all do now. Like, that's a fucking blessing, bro. Like, you remember the days when you were rapping for $500 and $1,000 and are grateful, for the come up, especially when it's shit that you want to do.
Right, right.